Hello there. Now, after I did a video on this Quansheng UVK5, I think is the number, I was contacted by a company offering to send me one of their products. The company is TIDRADIO, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'd rather call it TIDRADIO, but never mind. So, what they wanted to send me was a wireless programmer for programming these Chinese radios. And typically I've always used a cable. Here's the cable, and chirp I find is very good, and I've got used to using it. So this is what they send you, a little book telling you how to use this wireless programmer, which plugs into the side of the radio, and it will connect to your phone by Bluetooth, and you have to use their app called Oddmaster. Bit of an odd name for an app, but it's okay. I suppose it could be worse. But anyway, and also send you USB charging cable, which, if you can see, don't know if you can, but it's a USB-C, so that's nice. For some strange reason, I thought once you plug this in to the radio, it would take its power from the radio, but no, it doesn't do that. So that's fine anyway. Doesn't use much power, and it takes about an hour to charge. And the book is fairly good. Gives you a list of radios it will program, some of which are, I think, missing. I can't see any Quanshengs in here. And of course they make their own radios, TIDRADIO. It just shows you basically how to connect it all up and register, stuff like that. So I don't like reading manuals too much, but I must say it's fairly well written. So I think before I go any further, I think I'll show you their website. So this is TIDRADIO's website, and here is the device they sent me. Click on that. Basically shows you the device and how you connect it in various pictures. Description down there. Hassle-free drivers, whatever. So that's all fine, and it is priced at £19.88, so fairly cheap. I think the last cable I bought to program by cable was about £7. But anyway, the other products they've got various radios, which on first glance look a bit more sophisticated than the average Baofeng, and I would quite like it if they sent me one of these for review, but we shall see how this one goes and whether they like it or not. And that radio costs £55, so a little bit more than the Baofengs and Quanshengs. That could be quite interesting to try one of those. So that's how to look at the website. Let's have a look at the actual device, and I will link in the website address should you want to buy any of these products in the description below the video. So I think we've seen enough of that. So this is the app which I've downloaded, Oddmaster, Android and what's it called, Apple versions are available. So if I open it up, you get that home page, and so what you need to do is you need to choose the radio you want to download data from first of all. So yeah, you got to choose your radio, and I've got to turn on Bluetooth as well. And there's a lot of flickering, isn't there? I don't know why it's flickering so badly on the screen. Let me see if I can do something about that. Oh, when you light it up, it's going into timeout mode, obviously, on the phone's display. But I've got it set to UV-K5 at the moment, so let's change that back to the Quanchang UV-K5. It says there. Let's go to Baofeng. Now, here's your dilemma. I've got a UV5R. I've got two, and which one do you choose? There's four, or is there five versions? UV5R, UV5R of old firmware, Tri-Power, version B, old firmware 2. I haven't got a clue, and it didn't work on that one. I don't think it worked on that one. It didn't work on that one. It did work on that one, but it wasn't very successful. This one now seems to be the best one, the old firmware 2. So yeah, that's the one you need then. Well, you might need a different one for your radio. So let's go over here a bit, and you unplug the side thing, plug into there like that. That fits in quite nicely. I like the way they've spaced it away from the body, because some of those cables can be a bit hard to push in properly. Turn the radio on, turn the Bluetooth on the TIDRADIO wireless communicator. So, and now in theory, but not guaranteed, because I have had issues with this, so we go to old firmware, click on that, and yeah, pair device, got to do pair device. Switch that on, and you don't do it in a normal Bluetooth way. You don't have to go to a list of Bluetooth devices in your Bluetooth management. It's all governed by this app. So we're back to select model again. It's a bit tedious. I'm getting this. I've now got less options. Why is that then? Right, I've finally fixed whatever that problem was. I turned off my Wi-Fi and my mobile data because I didn't want interruptions when I was trying to program this thing, play with this thing, whatever you call it. And having turned the, clutching at straws, I turned the Wi-Fi back on. Now I get the old firmware which I was getting before, which is the one I want. Now, why the hell would it lose a load of different options just by turning the Wi-Fi off? Who knows? But slightly irritating. So let's go for old firmware then, which that's the only one I could find that worked properly on a UV5R. And now, what have we got to do now? Connect the device again with Bluetooth, of course. And now we can read it. The radio, as you can see, goes along reading the data off the radio. Okay, so now we have a nice screen. And what do we see on the screen? Let me just find a pointer. Right, excuse me. So what we got now is the downloaded data off the radio, of the memories basically, and also of the settings in the radio, or some of them, not all of them, I find, as I found out. So at the moment, you can see channel is up there, we're on channel mode. So channel 0, that gives you memory number 0 basically. That's the frequency, transmit frequency, DEC, encoding for CTSS, that's fine. High power transmitting, wide deviation, PTT lock, whatever off, busy lock off, that's scan add on. And if we go up, signal code, don't know what that is, and that's the name of the repeater, GB3CG. And if I wanted to, I could modify that and change that name. I'm not going to do that at the moment, partly because I like my keyboard like this and it makes it hard to do changing letters that aren't normal words, if you see what I mean. So let's get rid of that, and we could look at another channel, and that's quite nice. It brings up all the channels that are programmed in green and all the ones in red which aren't programmed, are empty. Let's try number 5. Number 5 is a UHF one, 438 TX 118.8 encoding, CTCSS, high power, all the usual stuff. Of course I can change any of this to different CTCSS tones, so that's quite good, that works. Cancel. And name again, GB3TD, repeater name, I can change that. And what else can I do on this screen? Well, I can also go to function, and that determines some, not all, of the settings in the radio. A-band mode. Alright, whatever. A-band frequency mode. Okay, well, whatever. I'm still getting used to this. Not sure about that at the moment. Set a DTMF. Don't want to do that. Squelch level 1, that's fine. There's only a few on here which are worth bothering with. Timeout timer is the thing that stops you transmitting after a certain time. I've got it set to 600 seconds. ABR is the screen brightness. which is 5. And not sure what else you can do. Change a few other things. Change the colour of display depending whether it's transmitting, receiving, or whatever it's doing. Power on message 2. FM radio on, just turn that off, I don't want the FM radio. Roger bleep, don't need that. There's a lot of stuff in here. In fact, it's quite a comprehensive menu. And you can also change how the display appears as a channel and a name, or just a channel plus frequency. I'll just have channel plus name on that. And so that's a setting menu. Receive transmitting this. No, I don't want to do that. This down here, repeater list. Apparently you can download repeaters in your area that you might want to program into it, but I don't want it to do that because there might be hundreds and I wouldn't necessarily want them all. So if you want to keep a copy of this, having downloaded it and maybe altered it and uploaded it again, possibly, you now press save and you can give it a name or just leave a date. What do I call this one? How do you spell Baofeng? B-A-O... I can't remember. No, it's not that. Tell you what. I changed my keyboard. Oh, there it is. Baofeng. I'm going to call this number 2 because I've got 2 of those particular models. So now I can store that by pressing confirm, and that'll be in the memory somewhere. It might be in here actually. Yeah, there it is. So I've got another one which is Baofeng 1, Baofeng 2. Got slightly different memories on them. So that's that. And that is that for that one. That seems to work anyway. I did all the channels, didn't I? Yeah, done all those. So right. So now what I want to do is connect it up to the latest radio I have. Let's go back to there. That's really weird though. I have to have the internet connected or else I don't get the full options. And I noticed that Quanchang wasn't there without the internet connected. You couldn't select a Quanchang radio. So what I'm going to do now is connect up the Quanchang and see how that works. So Quanchang now connected. Go change this to Quanchang. Fine. UVK5, I believe. And read. Bluetooth again. Right, fine. Right, now maybe I can read. Incorrect baud rate. I don't know anything about that. Confirm. Now it's disconnected that again. If you persist long enough, it does work. Read. And now it's reading it. Good. Somewhat faster, I think, than the Baofeng. And then we have the same again. Now, this is channel 1 on the Quanchang. I noticed immediately a problem with this. And I don't think it's necessarily the TIDRADIO's programmer, or I think it could be something to do with the firmware in the Crunchyang. But what did I notice? Now this is odd. Ah, there it is. Deck and Enk. Now what they mean by that is CTCSS tones. And I only want it on enable on this radio to transmit on the input as a repeater. But that clearly says it's off when I know that it is on. So why does it say off? That's the first problem I've had with that. But as I said, it may not be the app, it may not be the wireless programmer. It could be something in the firmware. Because I think I encountered a similar sort of problem when using Chirp to program that radio. And if I want to, and I think I might, I can change that name there from GB3WR. Let's call it GB3WWW. That'll do. And now, get rid of that again. I can write this now to the radio. In theory, it should copy all that data to the radio. Okay, before we look at the radio to see if it's done it, I wanted to go through functions. Now, functions are some of the settings in the menu, and here we encounter another problem. I think you will agree that I've downloaded the data off that radio and I haven't changed any of these settings, menu settings. Mic gain set 4, dual watch, whatever. Now, backlight is what you get on the screen, and you can select up to 5 seconds of light before it goes off, and it clearly says it's off, which it isn't, because the radio was set to have it on. So that doesn't. There are other issues as well, and I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but anyway, what I'll do now, we'll have a look at the radio and see if it's managed to do what it's supposed to do and reprogram that memory channel. Now, we have a major problem, because although I can just about see that it's changed GB3WR to GB3WWW, what it has done, it stopped the light. How do I get to the light? I know it's called ABR in the menu. It's difficult when you've got no light to find the light setting in the menu. Ah, dear. ABR, there you go, ABR's off, which is not what I want. I want it on 5. And that gives me my light back again, thank God for that. But that's a hassle, having to change all those settings. But if we go to, at the moment, let's get the screen up again. At the moment, we've got memories on both lines. I want to go to the bottom line, and I want to make that VFO. So not only has it changed the light, It's also reset the VFO to 435 because that was on 145.525, I think. Not only that, it's put all this stuff up. It's put reverse repeater up. Text message. Anyway, it's put reverse repeater up, which I do not want. So I have to go find the button to dispose of that, which is F and R. So that gets rid of that one. It's put it into narrow deviation, which I do not want. So I have to go all the way back through to, not that way. I know wide and narrows, and it's changed the frequency steps. I do not want 25, I want 12.5, which is all very frustrating. Let's just check that. No, transmit CTCSS. I think it's turned this. Oh, of course, that's on. I'm on VFO mode. Excuse me. Offset wide narrow. So it's set to narrow now, which it should not be. It should be on wide. So that's that. What else has it done? If you get out of that again, you see all this crap rubbish down here. DTMF. I don't want DTMF. So now I've got to find that in the menu. And as it's got 50 items in the menu, it is somewhat of a hassle unless you've managed to memorise most of them. It could be DCD on, but I'm not sure. Turn it off anyway. Let's try exit. Yeah, it's got rid of all that DTMF stuff now. So that is basically what I had to go through. Having used this, every time I reprogram that radio. But it could just be incompatible firmware somewhere along the line. I don't do firmware. I don't understand firmware. And to be fair, I'm almost certain I had this similar trouble with Chirp. It was changing some of the menu settings. So I'm not going to blame Mr. Oddmaster at the moment, because, you know, it worked okay on the UV5R, didn't it? Eventually. Should I save this? It's a nuisance because I've had to turn the Wi-Fi back on. Now I'm getting everything and anything coming in. So we'll save it. And what will we call it? Quanshang. There it is, Quanshang. Although, really I should have changed some of these settings. But I'll worry about that at another time. I'm just demonstrating at the moment. And I've also got to go through all the programming again now to get it back with that name that I changed from on channel 0 from www to WR. I might as well do that now. Might as well do that now. WR. Now if I go back to function dual watch, because I know if I program it again it's going to screw up that light. There you go, 5, and I'll save that again. Q. Right, now in theory I could... right, that's what I want to do. Right to the radio again. Okay, now I've got my WRs back, but of course it's screwed up all my other settings again, I'm sure. Yes, it's reset it all to 435 and put all that other rubbish there. I'm going to say it again, I'm not blaming this. I think there's something weird going on with the Quansheng. That's my interpretation of that. This thing will do, this app will do other stuff, which I'm not going to get into. Okay, well I think we had a bit of problem with the audio then, but I think I fixed it. And I think that's more or less all I've got to say on this. But there are other functions which I don't want to go into too deeply on this app. I think if you go into there, you can post messages on whatever forum and maybe ask questions, stuff like that, of the with the manufacturer. Not entirely sure, haven't really investigated that. Status, there seem to be some messages there. Don't know anything about any of that at the moment, not really that interested. All I really wanted to do with this is to program radios with it, and it's still early days though. Quite impressed with it, but you know, when you're used to using Chirp for a long time, it takes a while to get used to using something a bit different. And I think I would use it for Baofangs, but I wouldn't be using it on a Quansheng because of all the problems I've had. So, you know, it is what it is. Maybe they'll sort problems out, whether it's Quansheng, whether it's the app, I don't know. But all in all, I'm quite impressed with this little device for what it costs, which is not a lot really. I just want to say thanks to TIDRADIO for sending me this for free. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.